Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. The last time we finished with ayah number 5, surah number 30, Surah Ar-Rum. And as we explained last time, the surah in its initial verses was talking about an event that happened between Rome and Persia, and how Rome or the Romans were defeated, and how Allah told Prophet Muhammad to tell his community that despite the fact that Rome has been defeated, but they will be victorious later on in few years. We explained the whole situation and the background last time, so I will just continue with verse number 6. So verse number 6, in commentary on this, it says, "This is the promise of Allah," meaning that Allah has promised that Rome will be victorious. And Allah does not renege or fail to keep his promise. We know that when Allah makes a promise, nobody could stop him. Why is Rome here depicted as somehow God's favorite? We explained that point before, but it doesn't hurt to re-mention that Rome, being people of the book, they claim to believe in Isa alayhi salam, even though they deified him as God, but still they are following a real prophet, not exactly the way he should be followed, but they are called the people of the book. And that's why we explained last time, why would the believers be happy for Rome to be victorious and for the Persians to be defeated? This is not a political alliance. Muslims were not allies with any of the two parties. They were the two superpowers of their time, and the Muslims were just a fledgling new community that has no bone in this fight. But here is Allah in ayah number 6 saying, this is Allah's promise. Allah does not renege on his promise, and the majority of people do not actually know. What is it that the ayah is referring to that people, the majority of people, do not know? It is the fact that things are run on this earth by the will of Allah. And whatever Allah has of a plan, it will be done. His will be done. This is a fact that most people overlook, don't know, or just forget to remember that everything is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is not only true in terms of nations and their relationships, wars or peace, but it is also true between people as individuals, families, communities, and societies. So one has to be considerate and always remember that everything is in the hands of Allah. So after saying in ayah 6, but the majority of people do not know, in ayah number 7, he starts off by saying, they only know the superficial appearance of the events of this life, matters of their livelihood, like, sowing, irrigation, harvesting, manufacturing. We know those superficial things because we must know it to live. But the ayah continues to say, and they are oblivious and heedless of the hereafter. The majority of people do not know the value of the hereafter in contrast to this life. So they spend much, if not most of their time, building and developing this worldly life and forgetting about the hereafter. So ayah number 8, it raises a question. Don't they think deeply and reflect upon themselves? What is in ourselves? You know that psychology, the attempt to understand the human psyche, is a recently developed type of science and knowledge. But who would know about the human soul, our desires, our fears, our worries, more than the one who created us? So Allah is saying, don't they think and ponder and reflect on themselves? How sometimes we feel good and we feel high, and how sometimes we feel bad and we feel down. Those moments of ups and downs, the changes in our mood, the mood swings that we go through, feeling happy and feeling sad, feeling worried and feeling content, fearing something and being optimistic about another, all of these psychological changes, how do they happen? What made us in that fashion? It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues in verse number 8 saying, Allah did not create the heavens and the earth and whatever is in between except in truth. And for an appointed time. There is a time limit to everything in existence. The sun is running up to a limit and then it will stop. The earth is here and the day and night keep coming until we believe they will go on forever. But no, there will be one day that the sun will come from the west instead of from the east, and that this life as we know it will be changed forever. The earth will be changed forever. The heaven as we see it, as we know it, and it gives us the comfort, the sense of security, the sense of optimism. When we look up in the sky and see the daylight and we have a new day, fresh air, we feel very good. This is not going to go on forever. This life has a time limit. That's why Allah is saying He has not created heavens, the earth, and whatever is in between the two of them except in truth and up to a certain limit of time. And the majority of people are in denial of meeting their Lord. Many of the people who are enjoying the pleasures and the blessings of Allah on earth, in the heaven, in the atmosphere, do not think, do not remember, and don't want to believe even that they will meet their Creator. A meeting that is eventual and indeed certain, but most people, unfortunately, do not believe in that. As if the ayah is saying, with all what Allah has shown us, both in our creation as humans, how we are made, how our bodies and souls and spirits are meeting together to make us who we are. How Allah has synchronized all of His creations to give us the pleasure of this life. How He made us people who, yes, we need to rest at night, but to wake up on our own in the morning. This is an amazing issue that the Quran is drawing our attention to. Not just for us to recognize those phenomena, but to recognize the fact that they are God-made phenomena. To recognize Allah, the Creator. Unfortunately, most people, they call it natural phenomena. Sunrise and sunset and air gusting in the form of winds, rain coming down, or snow or sleet or anything else. They call it natural phenomena. They call it nature. Those are atheistic terminologies. The believer should know that nothing in this universe runs on its own. So the ayat will take us to observe and note certain things that are happening on this earth and around us and in our life, and things that has happened in the past, so that we can heed the admonishment of Allah. So in ayah number 9, haven't they traveled in the land? And haven't they seen what was the end of those before them? They were superior to them in strength, and they tilled the earth and populated it in greater numbers than those pagans of Mecca have done. And there came to them their messengers with clear proofs and evidence. Surely Allah wronged them not, but they used to wrong themselves. In this ayah, in ayah number 9, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling everybody who is reading the Quran and every human who would lay hands on the Quran, haven't you seen, haven't you traveled, roamed the earth to see what happened to communities before us? Where is the Greek Empire? Where is the Persian Empire? Where is the Roman Empire? Where is the Soviet Empire? Where are they? What was their fate? They used to be stronger in relative terms than we ever would be. And they toiled and worked and strove to build the earth and to develop it and to build houses and palaces and mountains and cultivate crops and produce and trees and gardens of everything. They were more powerful than we are. They were more developed than we are. And their messengers came to them with evidence and proofs. But they rejected those messengers. They rejected those evidence. And they were taken out by Allah. The ayah says, and Allah is not the one who have wronged them. They were the ones who have wronged themselves. In other words, the ayah is saying, don't you be like them. Allah gives you gifts and power. Allah empowers you in the land. And instead of being grateful and respectful of the blessings of Allah, you use it to oppress each other. You use it to transgress against each other, to kill and destroy and maim. Why is this? Why are you doing this? It's counterintuitive. When Allah gives us, we should be grateful. And if Allah puts us through a test, we should be patient. So their wronging of themselves is what brought about their demise. And number 10, then evil was the end of those who did evil, because they belied the evidence, the proofs, the ayat, the verses, the signs, the miracles, the messengers, the guidance of Allah. And made mock of themselves. They made mockery of themselves because they squandered the blessings of Allah and they abused it and misused it. They became arrogant because of power. That's why their fate and their end was as bad as their deeds. Why? Because they belied the ayat of Allah. They belied the verses and the signs and the miracles. Then ayah number 11 takes us to the basics. It says, Allah alone is the one who originates the creation. Then he will recreate them again. Then they will all be returned back to him. Very simple 3 sentences. Allah created us in the beginning without helpers or associates or partners. Allah will resurrect us and bring us back to life after we die, and we will all be ushered back into his divine presence to be held accountable for what we have done. And number 12, and on that day, the day of judgment, when the hour will be established, the criminals will be plunged into destruction with deep regrets, sorrows, and despair. They would wish they have died forever and never be brought back again. But it's only a wish. can never be realized. Means nothing. They will be stuck with their fate. It's kind of like a person's face is in the wall. Their faces will be in hellfire, not just a wall. They cannot escape, they cannot run, they will not have life, they will not die. It is the ultimate quandary that has no solution. Somebody
Not
is,
sure. Somebody,
I
can
think
everyone mute yourself, please? Because someone has like ee sound and it's really like ringing in my ear.
yeah.
Can
Can we resume?
please go ahead.
Thank you. And it goes on ayah number 13, and at that time, there will have no intercessors from among their associates and equals and partners they attributed to Allah. When they get to meet Allah, when they get to be ushered into hellfire, they will have no intercessors. No one will intercede on their behalf. In fact, they will be denying their own partners. They will say, we never were worshipped. Okay? Which means they will be standing alone before Allah, and they will be left with all of their likes in hellfire. They will not have, but their partners will be with them in hellfire, and they will be denying each other. They will be cursing at each other, the idols they worshipped, the people they served. All of this will be coming to shock them on the day of judgment. So, ayah number 14, and on that day, when the hour will come, that day shall be the day of separation. People will be separated from each other, including family members. Parents will not worry about their children. Children wouldn't care about their parents. Siblings wouldn't care about each other because everyone has their own affairs to take care of. Everyone has their own records to look at and be stunned. How much disobedience we have committed, how many violations we have done. How come we disobeyed Allah when we knew that He was watching and listening and hearing? Then, number 15, as for those who believed and did righteous deeds, They will be honored and made to rejoice and enjoy a luxurious life forever in the garden of delight. May Allah make us all among those. So here in Ayah 15, it explains what Ayah 14 was talking about. Ayah 14 was talking about people will be separated because some of them will go to paradise, some of them will go to hellfire. So it says, the people who have believed and did righteous deeds, they will be in paradise, in the garden of delight, the garden of bliss, and they will be enjoying themselves and rejoicing. And number 16, as for those who belied and denied and disbelieved our ayat, our proofs and evidence and verses, lessons, revelations, miracles, and they denied the meeting of the hereafter, those shall be brought forth to the torment of hellfire. I see a notice here that some sisters are asking that they get time for questions. So I was wondering if we need to take the rest of the time for this, or do we need less time? So I need to know how many questions do we have.
Sir, there's a note saying that we can start the question and answer.
Okay, so I will stop here at Ayah 16, and Ayah 17 will bring us a new subject. So I will just leave it here. So please come up with the questions, inshallah.
There's a question in the chat. Sister Naima, she says, I have a question. The women, is it appropriate for women to wear abayas with like different patterns, stripes, dots, flowers, in any color in public? Or is that haram?
The purpose of wearing clothes is to cover. Why do we cover? Because if we do not, we definitely will attract attention. So when we dress something that is very colorful, very bright, very attractive, we will attract attention. So we'll be defeating the purpose of clothing. Whatever great dresses sisters may have, you can put them under the abaya for private meeting with sisters and your mahram. But the abaya, the outer garment that sisters dress, they are meant to cover all of your beauty. They are meant to cover even clothes that are under them. So it is quite unfortunate that some sisters dress the abaya, but they leave it open. Or they make it open at some part at the end, lower part of the abaya, or they make it look like something unusual and very attractive. And when you attract attention, then attention will be attracted, and people, especially men, will be looking at you. So the less colorful the clothing, the outer clothing are, the better off you become in terms of both covering and deterring attention from focusing on you, your body, your figure, so on and so forth. And mind you, I am not saying that it is haram. I am saying it draws attention to wear the most colorful, the most bright, the most this, the most that, because we know that. It defeats the purpose of covering our body.
Okay, so question, next question. Who's next?
The question says, the Quran does not mention the color.
Oh,
I need to understand what the questioner really is looking for.
Sister Tanya is here. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
My name is Tanya. I had a question about the women when they pray to Allah to ask for a stronger connection to Allah to help us and guide us. Like we pray for our family, and whenever we're sad, whenever we're happy, Allah knows everything in our world, in our hearts. So when we pray to Allah for connections many times. So sorry, their sign language is British Sign Language, so it'll take me a bit more time. I'm sorry. Okay. So one of the questions is that if we missed our prayers and if we missed our du'as, and we don't have any connection to Allah anymore, you don't feel that connection, what do we do? How do we go back and connect to Allah?
Restart prayer. That's it. And make up the missed prayer. And to make it easy and avoid the whole problem, one should never miss a prayer. It is like saying, if I don't pay my rent on time, and then it accumulates several months or years, what should I do? You should pay your debt and start paying on time. The better way is to never miss a payment on time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, my other question was in regards to how to create a stronger Iman and stronger connection to Allah. So you would have a greater, righteous deeds. You would do more righteous deeds and be on the path of Allah and following the Quran. And you would be listening to Allah, loving Allah, having that connection. So all of that. How can I do that? How can one do that?
You can do it by keeping up with three things: that you remember Allah more than you forget Him. Number two, that you observe His presence in your life all the time. Not just when you want to ask for something. You should learn His word by reading the Quran and studying the Quran, because knowledge is power.
Yes, I agree.
You should surround yourself with righteous, good people. And stay away from evil, bad people, those who want you separated from Allah and from your faith. Steer yourself away from them. You should set companionship between yourself and people around you, whether they are family or friends or both, that you sit with them to study the Quran and to learn it. Attending meetings like this Zoom class is very helpful, I hope. Very good questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Okay, any other question?
Next is Wafa. Wafa, there's a question in the chat. It says, are we allowed to wear loose black pants and a long shirt over the knees with a long cardigan if the color is black and gray?
Yes, you are. If they are really wide loose, of course, the jilbab is more preferred because the Quran uses the term jilbab. I want everybody to take note of this ayah that I will point to you and read it on your own. The ayah is in surah number 33, verse number 59, where Allah tells the Prophet, peace be upon him, to instruct his wives, his daughters, and all believing women to draw down their cloaks over their bodies. Remember, draw down. Draw down is a description of what you call abaya or jilbab that comes from the shoulder all the way down to the ankles. So whatever pant you have should be under the jilbab, not in the outer. So, and so that you are not tripping over your own clothing, don't make the pant very wide from the bottom, the lower end of it, but make the jilbab wide enough to allow your steps to be comfortable.
Okay. I think Sister Yasin has a question.
Yes.
Could you please? All right, it's the wrong name. It's the wrong name. It's my husband's name, Yasin. Anyway, sorry about that. I have two questions. My first question is in regards to clothing colors. Like some clothing colors, like in newer modern time, like business occasions, we tend to wear colorful. The men wear like different types of stuff. It's free on them, but it's more strict on the women. How is that possible? Why do we have to do that? Black shirts, black bayas and jilbabs, they're so boring. What is, I don't know if that's a wrong question to ask or not, but I just really wanted to ask it.
No, it is not the wrong question, but Islam instructs.
I just wanted to open that out, leave that into the open.
Well, Islam instructs women to cover themselves in certain ways so that they are not turned into objects of display.
I see.
And this is for their protection from praying eyes and aggressive, personalities. Okay.
Okay. And for the boys,
For the
For the
boys,
boys?
they are required to cover their aura between the belly button and the knees. This is the minimum that they should cover. It doesn't mean they should be on display themselves, showing their muscles and all of this. No, they should also cover the rest of their body up to a decent point, okay? So there is no more freedom for men than there is for women, but there is a relative rule that relates to the person's need. So if the dark colors are boring for women, it is because women, first of all, Islam does not require women to wear dark colors. Okay? Dark color is a choice. But I
Is there
want
proof
you,
in the Quran?
no, it doesn't say dark color. But
I
Aisha,
thought it was there. I think. Okay. There was someone that showed me an Imam that was saying that it's haram for us to wear it, and it didn't make sense to me. So I was kind of confused.
no, I mentioned that in my answer to the first question of today. I said, mind you, I am not saying it is haram, but I'm saying that colorful clothes definitely attract more attention than dark, solid color clothing. The more colorful the clothing, the more attraction of viewers a person would attract.
I see. I see. I have a second question.
Sure.
So my second question is, I have been saying like wearing heels. Like I love buying heels. But people say that it's not good. It's you have to wear nice shoes. If you wear heels, you attract more attention. Is that correct?
It is correct that heels do attract attention, and the Quran prohibited that women would be walking and knocking the floor with the sound of their heels, as if they are announcing their presence or their coming or their power or their steps or.
I see. That's good. Yeah, that's good answer.
And the ayah that I want to give to you regarding this is ayah number 31, surah number 24. At the end of the ayah, it says, let the believing women not hit the ground with their feet or with their legs or with their footsteps, so that they would show what they are hiding of their beauty. So someone is wearing even abaya, but she is wearing a high heel with a high sound when she walks, and she keeps hitting the floor with it. Definitely she will draw a lot of attention to the beauty that she's trying to hide by the clothing.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So this ayah is ayah 31, surah number 24. I hope someone would write the numbers of ayahs and surahs that we mentioned. I think I have to go for now for my next class. And inshallah, we'll see you next week. I hope that if you prefer questions, give me a note before the session. And if you don't give me this, I will assume we are going for the ayat as normal, inshallah. Okay, thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. There's a quick question here. It says, is it allowed any plain color? Yes, any plain color is allowed, okay? But definitely when you wear something, it needs not to be transparent or translucent, okay? And it should not be showing the figure of the body. It should not be similar to the clothing of the nuns. Or the clothing of actresses and people who are dressing for glamour and everything like this. Women's beauty is their privacy. They need to protect it. They could only share this beauty with their mahram, male relatives that cannot marry them, like brothers or their husband or their children or their uncles or their parents or grandparents, grandchildren. But she should not show it to her cousins, male cousins, or their husband's friends or brothers. Okay. Thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Thank you very much, Sister Bilqis. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum.